Hello, and welcome back to episode 2 of Preservation Only, where hopefully the title is self-explanatory when it comes to what we're doing. Last episode, we spent a lot of time to get Gepard, meaning we finally have a second character. This time around, we're headed to Jarilo-VI to make him fight himself. But first things first, we do have a lot of EXP material saved up from everything we did last time. Let's do some leveling up. Yeah, that's good. Not quite to level 20, but it will do for now. And let's do the same for these light cones as well, since the higher level they are, the more stats they give to whoever equips them. That's as strong as we're going to get, so let's get the strain moving. Here's some important March 7th lore. You know, it's funny, the year is pretty much split half and half between good names and not good names. April, May, June, all normal names. July is workable. There are people named August, but then September all the way through to February, you don't want to be named after any of those months. So, all things considered, March here got a pretty okay deal. Oh, they are asking us to take a survey. Have I watched a VTuber recently? Buddy, I am one. Okay, now we're on the planet Jarilo-VI. It is cold as balls. Fight some birds as a warm-up, and wow, that was fast. Are we strong now? Here's Sam Bokarski. He is, of course, totally trustworthy, and immediately afterwards he leads us into a fight against the guards and then runs away, leaving us to handle it ourselves, as expected. Now, when it comes to these guys, there's two types right now, and one of them we're scared of and one we aren't. The ones we aren't scared of are the ones with guns. Their attacks apply a bleed effect. It's just little damage over time. Nothing to worry about. The ones we do have to worry about are these other guys who have the spears. Their attacks apply a defense down debuff. How much defense down? What if I told you it was 50%? That's pretty massive. And, well, okay, when I say scared, I mean more like mildly concerned, because it turns out our shields still hold up pretty well, even with a 50% debuff, but paired with harder hitting foes, these guys could still do some serious damage to us. We've beaten a couple of waves of guards now, it's time for their boss to show up. Wait a second. I feel like we've seen this guy before. Gepard, meet Gepard. Now, Gepard is a boss. He can do a couple of things. He can lock onto a target so everyone will attack them, and he can apply a barrier to his allies. None of these really concern us. In fact, the lock-on is kind of handy. It means we know exactly who to put our big shield on. He also starts with some friends. One with a spear, one with a gun. He'll summon more eventually, but the ones he summons are just the gun guys, so we don't need to worry too hard about them so long as we don't let too many stack up. And the gun guys are also weak to ice, the only element on our team, so they're very easy to clean up if we need to. Basically, what I'm saying is, this fight is surprisingly simple. But simple doesn't mean fast, so we've got a few minutes left over to discuss our strategy, or specifically, how our strategy has changed now that Gepard's here. And I mean, we spent so long getting him, so he's got to be super important, right? Well, kinda not. Let me explain. There's 3 things you can actively do in Star Rail: your attack, your skill, and your ultimate. Whenever you attack, you gain 1 skill point. If you want to use a skill, that costs 1 skill point. Both of these things you can only do on that character's turn. Ultimates are a bit different. You can use them on anyone's turn, even enemy turns, but you've got to wait a whole while for them to charge before you can use them. If you've played this game before, I'm sorry for telling you things that you already know, but this information is relevant to the point I'm about to make. See, Gepard's skill is not super useful right now. It's an attack that hits slightly harder than his regular attack and has a low chance to freeze. And when I say low, I mean freezing anything with it is very unreliable for now. And in comparison, March 7th's skill is applying a shield, which is super reliable because it is what is stopping us from just flat dying. Now, Gepard can apply a shield too. That's his ultimate, meaning it takes a while to come back, meaning it can't shield us all the time, meaning that in the end, we're still relying on March the 7th's shields anyway, so he's not really doing much. So why did we go to all that effort to pick him up then? I'll tell you why. It's because every time he punches someone with his normal attack, we get 1 skill point back. That's it. That's the whole reason. And this means that March 7th doesn't have to make her own skill points anymore, which in turn means that she can shield every turn as opposed to every other turn. There's twice as many shields, and we get a bit more damage output from the extra basic attacks too. Lovely. Now, he's not going to stay this way forever. There's a few things we can do to him in the future to make him a lot more relevant to actual strategy that we've got going on. But for now, this is what he does. Well, in any case, Gepard, the enemy Gepard, has decided that we're not fighting anymore, meaning he's no longer the enemy Gepard, and he's taking us for a little stroll around the city. Hang on, wait a second, I have an evil idea. Yeah, that's just perfect. Quick chat with Kokolia, and then we get to meet Serval. She's very cool, too bad we can't use her. I do love puzzles though, and bam, it's done. Obligatory trash can. Some people wouldn't understand, but this is vitally important. And then we go to sleep, and when we wake up, everyone hates us. The only option left is to run and live. And that brings us to the Fragmentum Zone. Good news, the basic enemies here are still super easy. In fact, they're easy enough that I'm tempted to try my luck against the really tough guys over here. Oh fuck, I fucked that one up. But surprisingly, these guys were actually a lot less scary than I thought they'd be. Are we really just very strong? But I mean, I'll take it. And I'll take the chest that they were guarding too. This area has a lot of chests and a lot of puzzles. Did I mention that I love puzzles? Watch this. Bam. Done. And we get a chest from it for doing the puzzle. It's perfect. I couldn't ask for more. Here we get a tutorial on using items. After using this attack boosting item, the next battle goes significantly faster than usual. How much faster than useful? I'm going to show you the battle in real time. And that's it. That's the whole thing. I feel like I just learned something very important. There's another so-called tough enemy over here, but this guy is weak to ice, so judging by how the last one went, it should be a cakewalk, right? Right? Wrong. This is the first type of enemy we've met that has a mechanic that punishes us for playing the slow and tanky way, and boy is it a wake-up call. You see, it goes kind of smoothly at first, but every time this guy attacks, he applies stacks of burn damage, and the more he attacks, those stacks just go up and up and up. And at small numbers it's no big deal, but here Gepard has 16 stacks and bam, he is dead, even through his shield. He gets back up again, he has a passive that lets him do that once, but it's a bit late for that because we've kind of already lost. And moments later, we actually do lose. And that thing still had like half its health bar left too. We'll have to get a fair bit stronger to deal with that. Later, though. We'll come back to it later, because first things first, did I mention that I love puzzles? Ooh, this one is actually a little bit... No, never mind, I've got it! And with that puzzle done, there's one more foe lined up to face us, and that's the final boss of this zone, Bronya. Just like Gepard earlier, she sends in a wave of soldiers first to soften us up. There, no problem. Also like Gepard, she likes to call for reinforcements. Unlike him, though, her reinforcements include both the gun and the spear guys. Remember, we're scared of spear guys. That being said, so long as we remember to clean up the ads, Bronya doesn't really have any tricks up her sleeve, aside from being immune to her weaknesses while the ads are alive, which doesn't matter, because we don't have any of those weaknesses anyway. She does hit pretty hard, so if we're not careful, she can break our shields if we're debuffed, and we do lose a few hit points this way, but I managed to keep it under control, and it only takes 10 whole minutes to grind it out. Woohoo! Once we're finished... Smoke bomb! Our good friend Sam Pokarski has, it turns out, sent us straight to the hospital. We get to meet Natasha, who is really cool and a great character, very powerful, of course we can't use her, and while I'd love to carry on with the plot underground right now, there's actually one other thing I really think we should do before we close out the episode. First things first, we picked up a lot of EXP back in those Fragmentum Zones. Let's actually level up to 20. Second, this area we just unlocked has something a little special, a food stall. And what's in the food stall? Well, a lot of stuff, but we're specifically looking for this, Snapper Jam Appetizer. This is an attack boosting food, so let's stock up and eat one immediately, because buddy, it is time for revenge. Forget Bronya, this is the real final boss here, and let me tell you, I can immediately notice that we are hitting a lot harder. Like a lot harder. For comparison, last time we were here, the fight lasted 7 minutes, and that was enough for us to only take out half of the health bar. In other words, like 14 minutes for the whole thing. This time around, we're finished in 3 minutes flat. Not only that, but we're not dead, which is a good thing. In fact, we're barely even scratched. I guess that's an important lesson to learn. Eating food, it is good for you. Eat your nutrients, folks. Well, that just wraps things up for this time, but look forward to next episode where we're facing up against one of the coolest yet toughest bosses out there, Boss Svarog himself. And trust me, we're gonna need a lot of food for that one. Aside from that, though, these things take ages to make, so please subscribe. Thank you very much.